Hello and welcome back to the Bourbon Bar. I'm Holden and today we're going to be reviewing E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. Now, the story on how I got this is honestly not really that exciting, but I'm going to tell it anyway because this is a very, very hard to find bottle for most of you out there. And I happened to just go up north one weekend with my brother and my cousin and my other cousin, and we stopped at a grocery store in the middle of nowhere, and it's probably the only grocery store in miles, like 50 miles, you know? And we were checking out, and I noticed in the back, on the top shelf, way in the back, Colonel E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. Without even asking about the price, I said, ooh, and there's 3 of them there. I said, ooh, can you grab me one of those E.H. Taylor Single Barrels? And he's like, sure. Brings it down, rings it up. And for $67, the Bourbon Bar has E.H. Taylor Single Barrel. Now, I'm super excited. I have dove into this right away. I wanted to give it some time to open up, so that way I could give you guys an honest review and sit with it for a while to give you guys my honest opinion. But, this is just a historic moment. This is probably the most rare bottle I've found ever, and it's exciting stuff, and it is good whiskey. So, for those of you who don't know, Colonel E.H. Taylor was one of the first people, or the first person, to really push the Bottled in Bond Act, which is 100 proof whiskey, I believe, minimum of 4 years old in a new oak barrel. And it's something that they did at a time where whiskey was getting faked, and there was a lot of stuff that it wasn't whiskey, but they're selling it as whiskey and all that kind of stuff. And E.H. Taylor wanted to put a stop to it, so I believe he pushed the Bottled in Bond Act, which made it to be 100 proof bottled in bond, aged 4 years, in a new oak barrel, made it bourbon, and this is just gonna be awesome. This is a Buffalo Trace product, mash bill 1, so it's gonna be the lower rye mash bill. It's gonna be a little bit sweeter, and it's hard to come by because it did win Whiskey of the Year, or Bourbon of the Year, sorry, I think a year or 2 ago, something like that, and it was already hard to find before that. And now it's like even harder to find, and the fact that I just found one for retail value in the middle of nowhere is pretty epic. That being said, we're going to go ahead and pour this into the Glencairn and enjoy this review. If you're excited for the video, leave a comment and tell me how excited you are. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit the subscribe button so you can get more amazing content like this. Right away on the nose. Oak spice, a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of strawberry fruitiness, more like a fruity, more like a jelly, like a strawberry jelly or a raspberry jelly. There's definitely some caramel in there, some butterscotchness. So this is a single barrel, not the small batch, so it's coming from one barrel. It's not blended or anything like that. And actually all the E.H. Taylors are 100 proof, bottled in bond, except for the barrel proof, obviously, because that has to be whatever it came out of the barrel as. I'm getting a little bit of a vanilla bean, maybe like I used to, don't make fun of me, but I did used to occasionally have a Starbucks drink, and I always got the vanilla bean frappe, and that's it's giving me a little bit of flashbacks. I'm not sure if they're good flashbacks, because, you know, white girl stuff, but, I mean, it's a little bit of vanilla bean. I just got a hit of the vanilla Oreo that I find in Buffalo Trace in here. That was odd, but, I mean, I believe it's the same mash bill. So it is indeed mash bill number 1, which is why I'm getting a lot of similarities between this and Buffalo Trace. And if you guys watched my Buffalo Trace review, which is linked up in the corner, I did say at first I didn't really like the Buffalo Trace, but it was more of the fact that it wasn't as sweet and brown sugary and stuff as I wanted it to be as a bourbon, and it had a little bit more of that florally fruity notes. And let me tell you, the higher proof version of that is definitely hitting that mark that I was wanting with the sweetness. There's none of that brown sugar in there, but with the vanilla and caramel and that vanilla Oreo cookie that I was talking about, just the cookie part, not the cream. It's something that's gonna be appealing to me for sure. Okay, so imagine you're drinking Buffalo Trace and that strawberry jam note is there. Now, up the baking spice, throw on a little bit more nutmeg and a little bit more caramel, and take away a little bit of that vanilla note that I was getting on the nose, and that's the palate for you guys. So it's really that sweet strawberry jam at first, but there's a lot more baking spice, and you can tell the way it coats my mouth too is also just nice. And it's something that I was really hoping for, because I always think that every time I drink Buffalo Trace, I think it's a little bit thin, and I really wanted it to be a higher proof, and this is doing that for me. This is probably some of the best stuff I've had. And if you guys watched my top 5 bourbons of 2021, which I will link up there, I did not put this on the list because not only did I not put out a review on it, but also this is something that's been out for a long time. It's new to me, but it's not something that's new to everybody. And if I had to be honest, this isn't the exact flavor profile that I normally enjoy, but for some reason, today especially, this is hitting the spot just right, and I'm really enjoying it, so I'm just going to keep enjoying it. It's a little bit more florally that time, but not anything dramatic, not perfume or the earth or anything like that, but it's just a little bit of floral notes in there. I think that's coming from the strawberryness, almost like a strawberry plant, including the strawberry. So it's just a little bit of herbalness, but mainly that fruity jam. The caramel is there. There's a lot more oak in this compared to a Buffalo Trace, being the same mash bill, and I'm not exactly sure how long this is aged. So that is something that I wish they would put on the bottle, is how old each single barrel is. And I know this may be the whiskey nerd in me kind of geeking out, but the way Booker's distinctly labels how each barrel is aged, or each batch is aged, I wish that they would do something similar with the single barrels, because each single barrel is going to be pulled out at a different age depending on if they think it's ready or not. And if they told us the age, that would help, because you could find some and you can compare them to each other and you can see what age does with everything. But overall, there's a lot more oakiness and baking spice, like specifically nutmeg, in this that I'm getting compared to the Buffalo Trace. And I just got a little bit of waft of cinnamon on the nose there after it's got a while to open up. So that nutmeg and cinnamon are really playing well with each other. Not overly cinnamony the way I can tell with the nutmeg, but the cinnamon's there. Baking spices is definitely the right call for it. That's probably not going to go on the video because, well, I would never put that on YouTube. But if you're subscribed to the Patreon, you would have just seen what I just did, because I do or will post behind the scenes clips on my Patreon at the Bourbon Bar. So if you guys aren't on Patreon, go subscribe to my Patreon, and don't miss out on any of the content that I'm bringing forward. And someday I'll be dropping merch, and we'll be getting single barrels and barrel picks and stuff like that. Will all be Patreon first, the way that most people do it. So if you're interested in my Patreon, definitely click the link in the description. I'll put it in there. So okay, so I thoroughly enjoyed that glass. It took me a while. You guys didn't see it all, but I did let it breathe. I let it open up, and I took my time with it and really got to enjoy it. And it was phenomenal. It was delicious. That being said, it's time to grade this bottle, and I hate to be one of those guys. I really do. I hate jumping on bandwagons, but my final grade of this bottle is an A. Just not an A+, not an A-, just an A. Good old-fashioned A. And I know it won Whiskey of the Year, and I know a lot of people love this, but I really wasn't expecting it to be as great as it was. It's just higher proof Buffalo Trace, and that's something that I didn't think I would enjoy this much, but maybe it's the hunt, maybe it's the pure excitement that I felt when I saw this sitting on the shelf. But this bottle has made me so happy, and I mean, I haven't had it that long, and I've already drank a decent amount of it. I've been trying not to drink it very fast because, let's be honest, when I'm going to find another one, I don't know. But it's delicious whiskey, it gets an A, and that's the end of the video. If you guys liked it, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, leave a comment in the comment section. What's your favorite Buffalo Trace product out there? And I'll see you guys in the next class.